Head Bud. Good morning to you, Senator. I know I want to focus on China with you, but I have to at least address this Russian accusation that the U.S. directed Ukraine to kill Vladimir Putin with just a little explosion of a drone in the sky. Are Russia's people that impressionable?
It looks like more of a little fireworks display, around the 4th of July. But I would say they are masters of disinformation. So we're going to treat all information that comes from the Kremlin with a lot of skepticism, and we're still gathering our facts right now.
But it's almost as laughable as Beijing denying any sinister motive behind the Chinese spy balloon, saying it was a weather balloon floated across the U.S. Oops, the winds just picked it up and it drifted all the way to the other side of the world. What do you expect the Director of National Intelligence to say about China today?
Look, they're our main pacing threat, as they consider it. We're going to hear from the Defense Intelligence Agency. We're also going to hear about other threats. What is North Korea doing? What's Russia doing? And when it comes to China, we want to know not just what they're doing externally, but what they're doing against Taiwan in preparation for a potential invasion, which we have to show strength in order to prevent, in order to deter. We want to know what they're doing internally here in the U.S. when it comes to social media, when it comes to influence. Those are some of our greatest concerns, because all the threats are not external. It's what they do internally here in the U.S. as well.
Well, like, for example, those so-called Chinese police stations found in, at least one of them found in New York, potentially more there, and in San Francisco, as well as other points in the country. Very odd, very brazen. I mean, we know there are threats, but we mention strength time and time again. Could the U.S. be doing more to disrupt what China's attempts are at spying on us?
Absolutely. The U.S. is strong, but I'm very concerned about the leadership right now in the Biden administration. They seem to be turning a blind eye to the real issues. We need to project strength, not just economically, but militarily. We need to make sure that we can trust our law enforcement at the highest levels, and that they have their eye not on tracking down conservatives, but on making sure that we are up against China, and we're against these efforts that they see, like in New York City, and social influences. I think a lot of what they do when they float balloons over us is they're testing us. They're saying, how do we respond to this? And we always need to be strong. And the stronger we are, the more that we prevent these problems. So all the problems that we're seeing right now are a result of the weakness that the Biden administration is projecting.
And I want to talk to you more about the Biden administration's efforts, or what they could be doing differently about China. But you just mentioned tracking down conservatives. What did you mean by that?
Well, when you see the efforts, the weaponization, that's what you're concerned about, the weaponization of government that you're seeing that U.S. House investigate right now. So those are the things. There's, what are they using the U.S. government for? What are they using what are they using the law enforcement apparatus of the U.S. for to target conservatives? So that's very concerning to us. So they need to focus on China and our external threats, and what those external threats are doing right here in the U.S.
And what I hear you saying is that we should be more concerned about foreign threats, and we should be more concerned about other countries' involvements here in our government. But clearly, there could be some discretion that needs to be used. Can the U.S. be stronger militarily and risk a conflict with China?
And a lot of the problem goes back to even our foreign military sales. It goes back to supply chain. It goes back to how quickly are we delivering what our allies need? Are we slow rolling them? Are we tying them down in red tape? Because I'll tell you what, when it comes to China supplying weapons to what have been our allies traditionally, China's there. They'll deliver what they need. It's lower quality, and it comes with strings attached. But what the U.S. needs to do is make sure we step up our supply chains and we give them what our allies need when they need it.
Senator's Head Bud, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.